everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing great and well. And yes, I have posted before another month would pass because clearly I didn't have an exact posting schedule, which I'm really sorry for. But hey, you're here, I'm here, you're watching it, I've already posted a video, and it's all that matters, right? But in today's video, I'm gonna spoil you guys again with another art content, an art journal tour. If you guys didn't know, art journal is a book kept by an artist as a visual and sometimes verbal record of her thoughts and ideas, according to Google. But before we dive into the heart of this video, let's first talk about the journal itself. I got it from Expressions, which is just basically a popular store in a mall beside my school, and it just has this quote that I am quite going for in some aspects of life, and same at the back but smaller. Honestly, it's not really even art journal material because the paper is too thin, but still we're just gonna paste some shenanigans inside so it still do the work. So when you open it, it has this quote that I'm not sure if I made or just saw somewhere, and it just serves as a reminder for me to grab a pencil and start to work on something. And beside it is a random quote, which I know why I put there is because I was trying out the Tombow calligraphy pen when I first got it, but had not bought her some company because they're way too expensive. In the actual first page is a reverse or upside down poem from Abdullah Shagib, and it's entitled Pretty Ugly. And I do think that this poem is so amazing because it has two messages. When you read it from the top, you get a negative message, and I think that it's so negative that it makes your heart sink and make you feel worse about yourself, and that's not good. But when you read it from bottom up, it gives you positive message. It's a complete opposite. And I think that it's so powerful and that all girls should consider this poem. We are all beautiful and let no one make you believe otherwise. Just beside it, I drew my own interpretation about the poem. And yeah, she's me, she's looking good. Well, there's really nothing much to say about this page. It's just a continuation and another self-love moment. But don't y'all agree that nature is so perfect? Well, not until people destroy it? Yes. And can we just talk about how this page is the only page in this entire journal that has a date? And I was so proud of myself that I did because it kept me in track of what month that I started putting in this journal and what year that I started. And now I am very enlightened. Ooh, we're starting to get artsy and colorful here. In this page, it just has this quote that says, "Deep in your wounds are seeds waiting to grow beautiful flowers." And I do think that this quote is best for those people who think that they're in this bad phase in your life. Always know that it's not always bad days, but it's also not always good days. But I do think that it's also a win for you when you're in this bad situation because you would learn from it, like everyone would learn from it, because who would ever want to be in the same bad situation over and over again, right? Because I'm pretty sure it is not me. You know what they say, kids, rainbows after rain, rainbows after rain. Every time I flip through this page, it just awakens my fantasy heart. And yes, I am turning 19 next month, but still I'm a big sucker for fantasy fiction, Greek mythology, prince and princesses, and mermaids. And childish it may seem, but I've always wanted to be one. And I can't even swim. Ironic, isn't it? But yeah, let's just talk about our mermaid here. She's so pretty. Her hair is like that of an ice cream. Let's just not talk about that. She is so sparkly and her background is made of plastic. Yes, you are not mistaken, but don't underestimate the plastic because it really gives this water texture which we're going for. Your destiny is written in your heart. This quote is from the Barbie and the Princess Pauper, and I just love all the Barbie movies growing up. And if you're this person who is struggling to know what you want in your life, just listen to your heart, because you can't go wrong to something that you really want. Now look who's talking, coming from the indecisive girl herself. This page is actually the easiest one of all, because basically I just grabbed a plastic, and on top of that I put a mixture of water and poster paint, and then scattered both of them in a bond paper, and voila, I am done. And I'm not really sure if this is a verse or a quote, but it says, commit your work to the Lord. And yes, all of us are given the talent or talents if you are God's favorite, and that we should all use it for a greater purpose, because darling, you don't want him to take back that talent, right? Now, one thing that I also love to do is character designing. And yeah, I told you guys that I love gods and goddesses so much, and I love them so much that I made my own versions of them. And the first one is a goddess of fire. Her name is Sapphire, because you know, Sapphire, fire. I was about to name her Soleil, but it seems like it's a goddess of the sun's name. And just take the time to look at her skin. I was so proud of myself for that. And look at her lava spots in her skin. It just looked so powerful. And the next one would be the goddess of the sea, Serene. And I told you guys I love mermaids so much. I always do. But in this page, I'm not really a big fan of her. It doesn't have a lot of volume in it, and it's so plain. And the last goddess would be the goddess of nature. At first I wasn't able to decide what's her name, but now I do. Her name would be Safari. And I'm completely aware that her pet snake is uncolored, because I don't know how to paint a snake's skin texture. And he doesn't look like a snake at all, because I suck at drawing animals. But just don't mind him, just let's focus our eyes on Safari. Isn't she pretty? And I know she's half naked, because it doesn't matter at all really, because she's made completely of chlorophyll. Starting from this page, you will actually see bigger improvements, or that's what I thought, because somehow I was able to realize what a real art journal would actually look like, so we're getting crafty. This page is just made of green acrylic, book scraps, and the flowers are from old magazines. And on the other side, we have Mother Nature. And by this time, you probably know where this page is actually taking us. And I hope you are completely aware of what the world is facing right now. And maybe it's because of our actions, maybe it's not too late, and maybe we could still do our parts. So stop being uncultured swines. Christianity alert, so if you are not a Christian, you can skip this part. So the center of attention of this page, as you can see, is this MP3 player design, which I got the idea from Pinterest. And I just have here one of my favorite worship songs, Nothing is Impossible by Planet Shakers. They're the best. But my ultimate fave worship song is Even When It Hurts, and you should definitely listen to it. And on top of that, I just have a watercolor painting that I did, which best goes with a song. And beside it, I also have my favorite verse, and this just speaks to my soul, because lately I've been overthinking a lot and I'm scared of what the future holds. But then I remember, oh, I have a God, and that there's nothing to be afraid of, really. This page gives me fairy tale vibes or enchanted forest vibes, but it's actually more than that. This side is made of artificial petals, you see, and I just added glitters to it to give more life to it. And the message of this page is actually not obvious, not until you read the quotation itself. And this girl over here lurking in this top edge represents you or me, thinking that she is sinking in a dark place, but she is actually not. The soil represents the dark place and the challenges we would be facing, she did face, or she is facing. But everything has the roles and they are there for a reason to make us strong. Because life without storms is a life not worth living and boring. Don't you guys agree? So, I haven't told you guys what my favorite page on this entire art journal tour yet, but what you're watching right now is just my second favorite. And I know while I was working on this entire page, my heart was also torn together with the book pages that I also tore. But I have to keep myself together because I really needed it for the whole aesthetic of this page. But I was not disappointed and it was all worth it because I loved how it turned out, and to think that this is my original idea, also that green page. But of course, except for this quotation, it's from Pinterest and it says, "Someday I will write poems about this, but first I must revive it." And it seems to me that this is a future code to my future struggling self. Now, this is what I'm talking when I say my favorite page. And other than the things that I mentioned I love in the previous pages, I also have this deep affection of the stars, the moon, and the night. And on this side, we have this Polaroid looking design, which has Van Gogh's quote that says, "I know nothing with any certainty, but the sight of stars makes me dream." Which I can't agree more. And to finish the whole page, I also did my very own Starry Night painting, but in watercolors. I know I was supposed to do it on acrylics or oil paints, but since this is the very first Starry Night painting I did, so maybe in the future I could try to do this again, but in different mediums. And I also added some tin foils in between the gaps for more design and to make the Starry Night look pop. Oh, and another art-related quote from Vincent van Gogh. Again, I just love him so much. And yeah, it may not be obvious, but I started doing art since I was in elementary and I can't see any improvements of my skills. And it's because I'm too lazy to practice, and please don't be like me. But have you ever heard of the quote that says, "Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard"? Yes, that slaps my face so hard, and that every artist, whether you're professional or just self-proclaimed, should always put that in your mind. Now that we've come this far, you probably noticed that this is more like of a compilation of things I love, things that I find empowering and motivating, and quotes that bleeds through my heart than that of a really actual art journal. Yeah, I actually have a separate journal for the words, but still, for me, I consider this as an art journal because it's composed of art and basically my thoughts, but through other people's quotes. So, spare me for that. But the most aesthetic award goes to this page. I don't know if this is a wildflower and what a real wildflower would look like, but it's real dried flowers. And yeah, I hope that you guys are blessed with this heart of wildflowers, that no matter where life would take you, you would just bloom and rise. We are finally down to our last page, and I also love Mansi's quotes because they literally talk about everything in life, and they too is very inspirational. And this window situation over here can actually be flipped, which reveals to you this view. I actually have a reference photo. I'm gonna insert it here. And this was when COVID didn't barge in. So, a little backstory, I was off to the road to take a bus going to the city where my school is, and I have to leave by dawn because I live in the province, and I actually leave on Sunday. And it would take an hour or two for me to get there, so I have to be extra early. But then I was out of the gate and saw this beautiful view, and I just have to capture it. And I just have to recreate it and put this in this journal because I just miss the cold and quiet bus rides in an early Sunday. And that's pretty much it. We've finally come to an end. If you reached this part of the video, I just want to know that I appreciate you guys and thank you so much for being with me in this art journal tour slash TED Talk. I do hope you didn't find it boring though. And we're still halfway in this art journal, but I can't wait much longer, so here it is. Part 2 is when the other half would be filled. And I hope to see you on my next videos.